Hey everybody, Lieutenant Governor Garlin Gilchrist here with another edition of Stand Tall Sit Downs, and I'm super excited about this one. One of the things that I really love about these conversations is I get to connect with people and share the stories of people who can do things that I never could imagine. And today I think is a really amazing example of that. And today we're going to be talking with Toni Harris. Toni Harris is an amazing Detroiter, an amazing woman, and someone who has seen so many different things and have done things that people didn't think was possible. She is, I want to let her tell her story, but I'll just leave you with this part. She is a bona fide football player. Not none of y'all fake football players out here, but somebody actually who will give you that work on the football field. But she also is someone who has seen and experienced things in life and has been a leader throughout it and inspiration throughout it. And I'm looking forward to her sharing her story about her journey because I think there's something in it for all of us. So Toni, it's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited a little bit. So.
Look, we all in this together, and I'm excited for people to get to know you a little better. And so, tell us the beginning of your story. Like I'm from the east side of Detroit.
Yeah, I'm from the west side, but
we can let that
okay.
slide. We can let that slide. But tell me, introduce people to Toni Harris from the beginning.
So, Toni Harris a lot of people know me as a female football player. So I am the first female to be awarded a college football scholarship as a non-specialist in college football history.
For the non-football heads, though, can you explain what non-specialist means?
Oh yeah, so non-specialist just means that I don't play any like special teams positions, like a kicker or a long snapper or something or a holder. I play safety. Yeah. So I'm coming down laying some wood.
You coming around the middle.
Yeah, I'm getting down, getting to the nitty gritty. We making moves on the field. Yeah,
I got it. That's good. So yeah, so tell me your origin story.
So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. I didn't move from Detroit until I was 19 when I went and left for college or whatever. Born at Sinai Grace. Well, Sinai before it was Sinai Grace.
Yeah, I got it.
Grew up in Detroit public schools. Whole life. Went to church, Unity Baptist Church.
Okay.
Got baptized there. My whole family still goes there. I still go there.
I got cousins who go there.
Yeah. And then I ended up, at first I was at Detroit International Academy for Young Women, but I was like, I can't play football here. You know, as a kid that loved football, I wanted to play in high school too. So I ended up leaving Detroit International Academy and ended up playing at Ref Union. So
okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm a Detroit girl through and through.
When did you, who introduced you to football?
So my cousin Demetrius Harris is the one who actually introduced me. I'll say like him and my uncle who was coaching because he was coaching the Steelers, and all my cousins, him, Brian, they all played on the team. But none of my siblings like never really played sports. You know, my older sister, she played basketball, but she's like 8 years older than me, right? And no females in my family played football. It was just me, and I was so athletic. You know, I love what they were doing out there, and I've always been competitive. I've always been like a little rebel too. You know, anytime somebody tells me I can't do something, I gotta prove them wrong. So that's how my football journey began as a little kid.
So let me dig in a little bit more on just because like I'm always interested about how we are how we lace together our experiences to become the people that we are today. And so your experiences in your childhood. Did you spend some time in the foster care system?
Yeah, I'm adopted, so I've been, around in some different homes or whatever. And it's not that I never really was with my own family or my mom. My mom struggled with alcoholism, so that was kind of an issue. But she was one of those people that she was going to help put me in a better predicament and position, even though if she didn't feel like it was the best choice. And we've always had a great relationship. You know, rest in peace to my mom. And I've always had a relationship with my siblings, even though we weren't in the same home. But some parents, they got to do what they got to do. You know, there are some parents who are selfish enough to keep their children in survival mode. And fortunately, even though, sometimes those circumstances always don't turn out to the best, I didn't have all the best circumstances, but I had enough to mold me into who I am today.
That's a beautiful thing. And I was, when I was doing my homework, I looked up a video interview you did a few years ago, and you talked about something interesting that I think, sort of started in your childhood, but, you talked about the desire that you developed to be your own role model. And I just wonder where that came from. What did you mean when you said that? Because often we hear how important it is for us to be role models for other people, for people to look to try to find role models who inspire them. But I just find that so interesting that you were looking for that within yourself. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think because as a kid, I always knew I was different. I mean, my mom always told me I was different. I came out different. I came out breached, backwards, legs first, left-handed, and I'm the only one in my family. So I've always been a different kid, and I've
Mhm.
always felt that I was a different kid. And at times, because I'm so multi-talented in so many things, I could never really find like my true passion, my true love, and something that I wanted to do. Like a lot of people, oh, Kobe Bryant's my role model, Simone
Mhm.
Biles is my role model, but I don't just do one thing. And I love to do like if there's a sport, you name it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I never really found a role model who could do all of those things, especially coming from my background. And I've never had anybody to like push me towards those things as well. I've always been the one pushing myself.
Mhm.
So I kind of became my own role model because I'm like, I'm one of one. And I've got to figure out how to do it regardless if I have any help or not. And as long as I'm my own role model, I can achieve anything.
And
So,
the beautiful thing about that to me is like by doing what you needed to do to be your own role model,
hmm
that naturally makes you a role model for other people.
yeah.
Even though that wasn't your intention necessarily,
No, it was never
but
my
that
intention.
happens, but it just shows that like when you are doing the things that you need to do and people pay attention to that and that can inspire somebody. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so many kids around the world who you never know you inspire until they actually reach out.
Mhm.
Like I thought, I knew what I was doing was bigger than me. It's always going to be bigger than me. But when you feel like the love and support from not just like the female athletes, but the male athletes and
Yeah.
people who to tell you they aspire to be like you
Yeah.
or to do something that you're doing, I mean, it makes everything worthwhile.
I love it.
Like it really is a really it holds a special place in my heart.
I'm glad
So
you said that about male athletes too, because the truth is like game recognized game, right? For
yeah.
like for real, like people who really, respect sport, like respect the hard work, respect the determination, respect the ability to overcome adversity and disappointment to be able to get to where you are. Like when they respect that, like that's real talk.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
And game does not always recognize game. Like it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and patience to get there because in the beginning of my career, even as a kid, like I was always doubted because I was a female playing football and
Mhm.
people telling me that I would never do like certain things. But like as long as you're one of those people who, yeah, you might knock me down, but I'm gonna get back up and we're gonna keep going at it 4 times, 5 times. They have
Yeah.
no choice but to respect it. But immediately when I went to college, like my teammates and everything, I didn't have to worry about the respect. The respect was already there when I walked through the door. And I think that made my experience all the worthwhile too because I not only did I have the respect of people around the world and my coaches, but I had the respect of my peers and my teammates, who the ones who I really got to go out there and battle with.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a important thing in my career too. That made it better.
So did that make the transition easier? So you said that really the first time that you moved away from the Detroit area was when you went away to school. So you go away to school, you went to Los Angeles to play football.
Yeah.
So you're in a new environment, other part of the country. But now so these players, they were like, okay, look, she's here, she's on the field, we respect her. We're trying to put in this work too. But
Yeah.
just tell me about that transition. Like, 'cause that's a
Yes.
big transition.
Yeah, and the transition wasn't so small. So
Mhm.
originally I was at the University of Toledo
Mhm.
where I had planned to walk on at, but then that's when I had got ovarian cancer in November of 2014
Mhm.
or whatever. So I had to sit out a year and go through chemotherapy. And then once I went into remission, I was like, I want to do something different. I want to start something different. And I just want to be around new energy, new love, new people, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm one of those people like when I have experiences like cancer, like I feel like God has given me a second chance at life and I'm not going to take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people say it as like seeing it as a tribulation, but it's a triumph for me.
Yeah.
You get to choose what you want to do with your life all over again, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I ended up moving to California and playing junior college ball, which is the hardest thing you can do in the world.
Mhm.
Any player knows who's ever went as a JUCO product through and through. It's it's so hard because there are some schools like that offer housing and stuff when you go to junior college to play sports at community college, but when you go to California, there's not. So you're like, there's people you're living with their teammates, and mind you, I'm the only female. When I
Right.
first got to California, they housed me with some of my teammates, and I had my own room and stuff, but it was like the most uncomfortable feeling I ever had in my life because I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Right.
Like but you get the experience and it shapes you.
Yeah.
Um, but we grind together, we shine together, we grind together. Everybody knows there's one goal, and that's to get out and get a scholarship.
Mhm.
So I originally, when I first went out there, I went to Golden West College, and it didn't work out at that school. Even though I still got my degree, ended up leaving and playing at East Los Angeles College, where I ended up getting my 6 scholarships and
Mm-hmm.
my degree also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of people say like they would never do the JUCO, being a JUCO product over again, but I could tell you, I that experience shaped me more than any experience in my life, and I would do it 10 times over before I ever decide to. Like if you had to ask me to choose, would you play at the university level or would you play at the community? Give me the junior college level, because everybody works hard.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same goal.
Yeah.
When you get to the university level, it's all like politics.
Yeah.
Now they feel like
Interesting.
they've gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
It's become easy. So I want to be around people who work hard and who are dedicated and who want to be successful, not people who are just given opportunities now that they've gotten there and they take advantage of it. So I respect playing at the university level, but I can respect none other than the people that I went to ball with and grind with in junior college. Like those are people I still talk to this very
Man,
day.
I gotta tell you, that's like for me, like just to hear that again, like as a Detroit guy, like as a Michigan person, like we respect the work.
We get it out the mud.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I've been getting it out the mud
I
my
love that.
whole
I love
life.
that. I love that. No, so you mentioned it. I was gonna ask you about this in a minute, but you mentioned it. So around the same time that you started at college, you were also diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Yes.
That had to be a hell of a thing to confront at the same time. Like, tell us about your journey as a survivor.
Because it's a journey that shoots down your dreams,
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about anything happening like that to me. Like it is in my family. Like breast cancer runs in my family, and we've had like maybe one person with ovarian cancer, and then both of my uncles both passed away from lung cancer. But I thought, thinking like I'm such an intense athlete, you don't think things like that are going. You think you can like run from things like that or whatever. And just being like an 18-year-old girl and that happening, and then me wanting to play football and me just being active and not being able to do those things no more. Like a lot of people don't understand the experience you go through, especially because when you're going through things like that, like when I went through chemotherapy, it was so hard on the body because I had to do 16 rounds of it.
Man.
And it's your hair is falling out. You're throwing up stuff that's not even in you. You don't even got food in you, but the bowel, like the yellow that's is constantly coming up. Your chest hurt constantly every day. Your body's pale. You really can't be around a lot of people because of the radiation and everything. And a lot of people don't understand like what that makes you go through. You really do want to give up. But I think, like I said, I've always been different. And I've always been a fighter. And something like cancer was not going to be the thing that take me out. If it's going to be something that take me out of this world, it's going to be something I absolutely positively love. And when I choose to leave this world, I'm going to have done everything possible that I could on this earth before I let something like, cancer take me out. So like nobody's ever going to know the pain that you go through, but at least you know that you have people and community around you to help you get through it. Something that says, I still need to fight. I still have people who look up to me, who aspire to be like me, people who want to do like my nieces and nephews. I want to see them grow up. I want to see, my siblings get married. I want to see my granny, get to her ending days. And I still want to see myself and what I go through and what I can be and achieve and, be successful. So I think all those things tied into one, it's like you have no choice but to fight. And some people don't even get that
opportunity
reward or opportunity, but it's a reward because you get to choose to live. That's still.
That's right. So, did going through that experience, like, did that, give you some perspective or change your perspective on just like, the healthcare system, how it could be better? Because me hearing that, I think about like wanting to make sure that everybody has access to at least the kind of healthcare, the kind of medical care and treatment, such that whatever may confront them health wise, that they have the resources to be able to deal with it, to manage it as best they can. Like you don't like necessarily, people to have the ability to have better health outcomes. Like things happen, you can never predict how it's goes. Therapy doesn't always work, but like a part of my job is to make sure that everybody can have access to health and wealth and access to like, okay, I can get the medicine I need to be able to afford it. If I got to do these treatments, I can get those treatments. I just wonder, like, given your experience as a survivor, if you anything.
Yeah, it's absolutely like you're at a disadvantage, especially people who are like on Medicare or Medicaid or whatever, because you don't get the same opportunities that other people who have good health insurance have. And it would have been a better experience for me because I didn't have like the best insurance. It made me have to have more rounds because I couldn't like it was progressing.
Yeah.
So like if we would have caught it in the beginning, it could have been less, but because you can't afford it, now it's progressing. You got to have a heavier treatment, like a
Mhm.
heavier radiation treatments, and it's so hard, and people don't understand. Like a lot of people choose to not live
Not do it.
because of that.
Right.
Like they're like they don't want to go in debt trying to fight for their life for something they don't even know is going to help them,
Right.
and it'll put a lot of people in debt.
Mhm.
A lot of people in debt. Thankfully, like, I was on scholarship at the University of Toledo when I first got there or whatever. And the money that I was getting from FAFSA and, federal, the free money that you get, I was putting that towards like my treatment and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and the little bit that my insurance paid for. But I mean, we've got to figure out like something, some way how to like get people more resources
Yeah.
when it comes to healthcare so that opportunities like, not opportunities, disadvantages like I had are taken care of before it's too late.
Yeah, I hear that. And look, me and the governor, like, I mean, if you had to think about the things that probably we think about the most,
Yeah.
like part of it's just like, cause
It's healthcare.
it's thinking about how, but it's about we, our health is so foundational to everything, right? In
Yeah.
terms of you trying to be your best. And so we want to make sure people have access to
Yeah.
that.
Because you imagine, like, not even with just cancer, like how many people who were at that disadvantage when COVID came.
Right.
And there were
Right.
so many people like couldn't go to the hospital.
Right.
Hospitals were overfilled.
Right.
Like, and I ended up getting COVID 3 times.
Yeah.
That luckily I'm young and vibrant and still, I can fight stuff like that. But to
Mhm.
all the people, who lost their loved ones because of it, because of, the healthcare system failing a lot of us, like I know there's something, some way out there where we can like figure out more resources and more help to where people even that are on Medicaid or Medicare where they can get better help.
I think you're right. I mean, I lost a lot of people during COVID too. I mean, like
Yeah.
so many people did. And I mean, as a state, we tried to have a pretty forceful response to the fact that, more Black folks and
Yeah.
people of color were dying from COVID at a higher rate
Yes.
than our white counterparts. And so Michigan actually was pretty unique in that we were the only state that said that we weren't going to accept that.
Yeah.
And that, I led this task force that had a really targeted response that we're going to deal with these racial disparities so that, that less people won't get infected at a disproportionate rate and people won't die at a disproportionate rate. And like we were able to actually like not only do that during COVID in a way that was actually validated by, researchers independently and stuff like that, but it helped us think about how we deliver healthcare overall. So
Right.
like, putting new healthcare centers and infrastructures in communities that didn't have any kind of access to those resources, or even like developing these what we call them mobile health units, just like
Yeah.
literally
I've seen
vans and
those mobile
trucks and
health.
stuff, right? That
Yeah.
are just like going and saying, we're gonna park at this park, we're gonna
Right.
park in this lot, we're gonna park at this jail, we're gonna go to this farm, and we're just gonna help people here. So that was important.
Yeah. And then I think there's like things you could do where you like if the state was like would agree upon doing something like people who actually want to be in the healthcare field but can't necessarily pay for it,
Mhm.
send those people to school who will go around here and help places like the jails or like
Yeah.
pro bono clinics or something. So
Yeah.
like people who don't have the best healthcare can at least go to those places because you're also at a disadvantage. The more people we can get out there that want to help in the right direction and that's not just about the money,
Yeah.
the more we can get people help.
See, I didn't even ask you to even be an advocate for that program that we doing on
Oh, y'all are
like
doing that?
for sure. But like thinking about one, making it so that people who want to pursue these jobs as community health workers or as healthcare professionals
Right.
can go to get their training and certification tuition free through Michigan's community colleges through our Michigan Reconnect program. And we set up these new neighborhood health centers, this new infrastructure, 23 of them across the state,
Wow.
stuff like that. So like we're trying to get there. So I want to talk about something else. So I read saw another video you put out a couple years ago, and it was talking about this kind of interesting point in your life where you were after your first year at Central Methodist, you're playing football and on the team, putting in this work, getting national media attention for being this, woman who's in this football program playing collegiate football, but like that you weren't playing though.
Right.
And so you talked about how you on the one hand had this like success and this achievement, but on the other hand, since you weren't actually doing what you really wanted to do, that you experienced depression during that. And so it would be, can you like tell me about like how that felt how you were trying to navigate that, because that's something that I don't think other people would see. Like, hey, she's on top of the world.
Yeah.
She's the only person to ever accomplish this. But then at the same time, sort of
Yeah,
actually
it
not doing
feels
the thing
like
you
you're
really
not
want.
actually accomplishing anything at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and people don't understand, like, being the first to do something is such a heavy weight. Like,
Mhm,
they always say heavy is the head that wears the crown.
mhm.
And even though the crown has been super, super heavy, I do believe God chose me for a reason, and I'm super, super grateful, but it comes with so much. So
Yeah,
when I got to Central Methodist or whatever, and the national media attention was on me, I knew there were going to be people who wanted to see me fail, people
yeah.
that wanted to see me succeed, but as many people that wanted to see me fail. And so, yeah, I felt like I was on top of the world, but on top of the world didn't just mean the national media attention. It also meant excelling at what I really came there to do. And I
Mhm.
wasn't able to do that. Like I said, I came in working hard, honor roll student, president's list. I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm learning my plays. I'm going to meetings, but I wasn't given the opportunity to compete with everybody else
Mhm.
at fairness, like how everybody else would. It would be, so we would have practice on like Monday through Friday or whatever. Games were on Saturdays, whatever. I would be able to come to practice on the Monday, which is like more of our conditioning days. Tuesday, I wouldn't be able to come to practice. Wednesday, I wouldn't be able to come to practice. I would be able to come Thursday because it's only shields or whatever, and we're only thud, and so we put on our shoulder pads and our shorts or whatever. And then Fridays, I wouldn't be able to come either because that's walkthroughs for people who are playing on the active roster.
Mhm.
And I suited up one game, which was my first game ever, and it was the game that the NFL came out and filmed for, which, I mean, when I tell you, I've never been so mad in my life. Like, I've
Mm.
never been so mad in my life
Yeah,
because I feel like after that game, everything changed.
yeah.
Um, and I didn't like being a face case. Like, I came here to do one thing, one particular reason. I never intended on making any history. I
You
just
didn't
wanted to
ask for
play
all that.
ball. I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
I just asked to be given a fair chance to be able to be treated like everybody else, which, most of my coaches did or whatever, and my teammates or whatever. I'm not gonna say they didn't. Like, phenomenal coaching, like Coach Stu and Coach Q or whatever. But it was just not being able to get the opportunity to even go out there and make plays and complete. So when I asked my head coach, because this is around COVID time now, mind you, I've already passed my first year and we got sent home the spring of 2020 because of COVID.
Mhm.
And they wanted everybody to come back in August or whatever. And I called him before I went out there. I'm like, are you going to give me, I told him, I was like, first off, I told him I'm not doing no more media anything until I can compete.
Mhm.
Like, we're just not going to do that. Stop the letters, stop the interviews, stop the articles. Like, I'm not doing anything. And then I asked him, like, well, are you going to give me the opportunity to come out there and actually compete this fall or whatever? Like, I can handle not being good enough if I'm competing and it's not at that level.
But you gotta get a
What I can't
chance, so
handle is not being given the chance to compete,
right,
you know?
right.
But because I can take that on the chin, I can work harder, you can get better,
Yeah,
but you can't do anything about not being able to get the opportunity to compete.
yeah.
So when he gave me like this little shallow answer and he was like, I don't know, I had to take it on the chin. Well, I thought I took it on the chin before depression set in,
Yeah,
but I was like, I won't come back. I'm not coming back then
yeah.
because I felt like my dignity and what I wanted to do for my future was so more important than being a face case for a school that just wanted me for the
For the
attention and
attention.
not for my actual skill, whatever. And I'm not gonna say that's the case for everybody, but that was just my case or
Yeah.
whatever. And so at that time, like, as the days started going by, I cried and I cried and I cried. And I kept trying to figure out how to get out of the depression, but I was in such a deep, dark hole. And I was also, in a relationship, but my boyfriend was away at school in Texas. So I'm living in the house by myself because we had
Alone.
an apartment
Mhm.
or whatever. And I don't have anybody there and whatever. Like, I'm just going through the motions by myself. And it would be moments where, like, there's two different types of people. There's the people that think about suicide and there's the people that actually do it.
Yeah,
At that moment when I realized and went through therapy, I was one of those people who always thought about it, but it could have been a moment where
yeah,
it could have happened
yeah,
because it'd be the easier thing than to just live with
yeah,
how you felt. And
yeah.
a lot of people don't know how hard it is to come out of depression. It took so long. Like, I didn't come out of depression like in weeks. I think that was in 2020. I think I'm still now just learning to navigate. Like, it
Mhm.
still weighs on you now because I don't ever stop thinking about what if.
Yeah,
What if I never gave up that opportunity? What if I would have went back? But at the moment, that was the best decision for me. And now I'm learning, to navigate through life without playing at the university level, because I still play pro
Right.
now. I play
Right.
for the WNFC
We
or
coming
whatever.
to
I'm
we
still,
I'm
yeah, y'all
coming.
got
I'm
to come
coming.
to a
I'm coming.
game.
I'm
Yeah.
coming. No doubt. I
Shout
got a
out to the
shirt.
Women's National Football Conference. And, I'm still doing what I want to do, but I really wanted to be able to, I worked so hard to get those scholarships. I worked so
Yeah.
hard in high school and as a kid, and just taking everything that everybody said about me. So it was like, y'all are proving the media to be right. I felt like a statistic.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
I think that was the hardest thing about it. It wasn't more so that I was letting myself down. I was letting down every kid, not just females, but I was letting down everybody who looked up to me, who aspired to be like me.
Yeah.
And that's what crushed me the most, because
Yeah.
now I can't be, I'm my own role model, but the people that see me as their role model, I'm no longer that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what took the toll on me the most.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, it makes me think about the fact that, so many people in so many different circumstances are just carrying these really heavy burdens.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And for so long, I know like in Michigan, there was for so long, we just did not have enough support.
Yeah.
So such that if a person was dealing with something and they needed help and they were in a position where they were ready to reach out for help.
Right. And it's so hard to reach out for help.
Yeah. Well,
really
that's why I even say it like that, because I know that, like, in order to you have to get to that point where you can ask for help, and some people never get to that point.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. So, like, again, when I talk about health and wealth from my vantage point, again, what my responsibilities are, it's like part of this is making sure that we can have more resources available for people who do are in search for help and support with their mental health. And so many of us are carrying so much and dealing with so much, and it presents in different ways to different people. And so, like, it's been really a real point of focus for me to try to, I got to work, for example, with Senator Debbie Stabenow to expand this program called Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinics, where people can walk in, don't have to have insurance, can walk in for free and be able to get help. And, like, we've had 40 plus new centers in Wayne County alone that have sprung up to be able to give people.
I definitely need a list of those centers.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
yeah,
the people that are around me.
Yeah, just like these centers that have increased their capacity significantly to be able to serve people. And it's important because when a person is going through whatever they're going through, and they are in a point where they are able to seek out help, I need to be able to find it.
Yeah. And then it makes it hard too, because for a person like me, I think all my life, and this is a lot of people who come from like my community or whatever. Like, I grew up on Joy Road in Van Buren, so I'm like in the hood of hoods or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like such an independent person, but I'm always in survival mode. So when I'm in that survival mode, and I've learned to do everything on my own, learn to, teach myself certain things. It's hard to seek out that help when you're so used to doing it for yourself, because you're so used to not being able to get it from the people you ask for. So you learn how to lean on yourself.
Yeah.
And how do I lean on myself if I don't have anything to lean up against, because I'm going through such a dark spot and a dark place. And it also takes a toll, because not just being like a regular person on how it takes a toll on your mental, but imagine an athlete like with everything on top of your plate. I mean, last year, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was like over 20 athletes who committed suicide from different colleges and different high schools and stuff last year. It's taken a toll on everybody. But a lot of people, they don't know how to reach out, because for one, men are told not to cry. Like, don't be vulnerable with your feelings, so they can't reach out. Women are told to toughen up and stop acting like a girl, or you are a girl, so you can't do certain things. Like, I've been told that a million times. And so, like, you come to a moment where it's like, where do you seek the help at?
Yeah.
And when you finally feel like you're ready to seek the help, it's almost at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost at the end. And some people feel like, the best option is to leave here than stay. So, and I feel like for me, I came to a conclusion of how selfish would that be? Like, you're not just taking yourself out of the equation, you're taking yourself out of the equation for all the people that are around you. And I just didn't want to, like, my family has already been like hurt so many times and broken so much. Like, I didn't want that to be another thing that we had, because it was right after the year my mom had passed away from a car accident here. And that's not another thing I wanted to put on my family. Like, I don't even think my granny would have been able to get through it.
Yeah, so. I got it. Well, God bless. I'm thankful that that you're able to navigate that. So that experience, and just, I mean, broadly with the, you've had what I think a lot of people would characterize as success. But I'm curious, like, how you define success, like, and how your experiences, how that's impacted the way you think about like setting goals and, again, achievement, and just how do you, what does success mean to you?
Well, I think we touched on a little bit earlier. To me, success looks so different every day because, like I said, I do so much stuff. So every day I have a different goal of what I want to do, whether that be, getting closer to God, whether that be being advancing in my career, whether that be creating a relationship, better relationships within my family, or giving back to the community. Like, there's so many things I want to do, and I just think that you can define success on just one certain level because you can be successful in so many aspects of your life. And so I try to take each day for what it is, and one day at a time, because sometimes we try to look ahead so fast that we miss everything that's in the present. And I try to live like that and like make little steps, but create those milestones and get into success. Like, success to me will one day feel like I don't think I'm successful right now. I think I've achieved and done some great things, but I don't think like it's enough. I'm not to a point where like I celebrate the little wins. It's so important to celebrate the little wins because sometimes like you won't get those often. But I think that there is so much more that I can give back to this world, so much more that I can give back to my community, so much that I can give back to myself. And success, once I finally get there, it'll feel peaceful, it'll feel genuine, and then that's when God will probably say, "Well done, my true and faithful servant."
Right,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's where I feel like once I'm successful. But for right now, I think it looks differently every day. Like, it just depends on what day it is and what I want to accomplish that day. Like, you never know. Tomorrow, I might be like, I want to throw another youth camp. Like, it could be something like that, and I want it to be successful. That's what I did this year. For my 28th birthday, I threw a camp on July 28th in honor of it. It was my first ever football camp that implemented not only flag but tackle as well. And 134 kids came out.
Okay.
And it was the best birthday ever. Like, I never experienced anything like it because I'm always working football camps, but I never had one of my own. And I don't think any woman's ever put on like a football clinic or whatever like that. Like, I know Jen Welter, she does her own girls camps or whatever, but I invited girls and boys from the ages.
This was a football camp.
Yeah,
not
it was
girls
from the ages
camp.
of 4 to 21. So we had every age of girls and boys out there. And it was so amazing to see like my family come out, my friends from the gym, all my friends, the whole community, the whole Detroit showed up. Even Enjoy Detroit, Dave, he came out and was a big sponsor, NFL flag sponsor with the flags. I had Kona Ice out there. My cousin came out and sponsored Hibachi. Like, it was a phenomenal event, and it was so successful. And I was able to just take a deep breath at the night, and I laid on one of my friend's shoulder. Her name is Jasmine. She was like, "You did it, friend." And I was like, "Okay,
so happy birthday.
I can breathe now." But I was wore out the rest of the week. I didn't even do anything on my actual birthday that Monday. I was like, I went to the gym that morning, and then I laid in the bed the rest of that night. I was like, that camp wore me out. Those kids are hard to deal with.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. 134
kids is a lot.
Yes. And the planning and the running out there, and it was 90 degrees.
Of course it was.
So
a lot of water.
It was a lot. Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but it was successful, and I just thank God really for giving me that opportunity to be able to actually do it in my own hometown, because everybody was asking me to do it in LA because I'm usually like back and forth there. But I was like, no, what's important to me is to give back to my own community first, the one that raised me, the one that saved me, the one that's going to continue to keep growing. So
I love it.
That was important.
So are we going to turn this into an annual thing?
Oh yes, absolutely. Every year, probably for my birthday or around my birthday, the Toni Harris camps will happen. So this year was the Toni Harris Elite Football Camp. Next year we'll do our second annual, and we're going to get more sponsors and stuff, and more kids to come out in a bigger field, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal, because I remember being that kid that couldn't do stuff like that, especially because originally my camp was $20 registration or whatever, but I had so many kids reaching out saying like their parents couldn't pay for it and they really wanted to come. So I was like, you know what, Toni, you saved all this money for your birthday, forget that, put it into the camp. And even though it I put all the money into the camp or whatever, those kids had a phenomenal time being able to come for free, and they got their t-shirts, and we had food out there, and they like it. We gave out awards, MVP awards. I gave out 6 awards to the kids, and they interacted so well with each other, and it was just a phenomenal experience. It was my first ever, and I didn't think it was gonna go the way it went, but I'm just so grateful that the community of Detroit, like the people really do come here together. Like
That's right.
that people that don't live in Detroit might not think that's how it is, but we rally together.
That's how we do.
rally the troops, we come together, and we make it happen.
That's how we do. All right, we coming toward the close here. So you shouted out the WNFC.
Yeah.
Women's National Football Conference. Where we have champions here in
Yes.
Detroit.
We're trying to get a team here. So there's one that just got started in Chicago. I want them to bring a team here because I have to go back and play in LA. But if we can just bring one here in Detroit, got to figure it out. I'd be able to. This would be my first time ever playing in front of my family because my family's never really been to any of my games, even in high school and college. And I would just love the moment and the opportunity for like my siblings to be able to see me play, to go to work, for the city to see me go to work.
So I'm down to work on this plan.
Yes,
I love this plan.
I would love that. Okay. Like we're gonna work. We're gonna bring a team for the WNFC to Detroit.
So let's talk again about your relationship with the NFL.
Yeah.
So did you go to draft?
I did. I went to Pro Bowl. I went to Super Bowl. I went to draft. I worked draft. I did all the red carpet.
You came to the draft in Detroit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did. So when you seen NFL reached out to me this year where they had me make the NFL video about the draft.
Yes.
Or whatever, and it was seen like almost 1 million views or whatever. So we did that, and then they also gave me the opportunity to go on the red carpet and interview all the draft picks. So they set me up a whole little section. I had the perfect section right in front of Fox Theater.
Yes.
And I was able to interview all the draft picks. It was a phenomenal experience. And this is not my first time at draft.
Sure.
So I've been to draft. I interviewed the first round draft picks in 2019. I went to the draft in 2022 because I also play in the celebrity flag football games that they had last year and the year before at Super Bowl. So I've been there. And I've been to the Super Bowl 3 times. So I work a lot with NFL, especially doing a lot of stuff because I'm an NFL and NFL flag ambassador.
Yeah.
So my goal is to one day become a TV personality, NFL analyst type reporter for NFL. So slow milestones.
You could do the analysis for that 2028 Olympics flag football.
Well, see, I won't be able to do the analysis for it because I'll be playing in it. That's the goal.
Okay, I'm with that.
If I couldn't everybody knew that my goal was to be the first female NFL player.
Yeah.
But how great would it be to bring a gold medal back to Detroit?
I am
playing
totally
flag
here
football.
for this.
That is on a much bigger stage than NFL.
I'm 100% here.
Oh yeah, I've already started my training for it. That is the goal.
I love it.
Bring a 2028 gold medal back to Detroit as the first female college football player. It's going to be a hard one, but I've already done a lot of hard stuff in my life. This is not one thing that's going to stop me from going after that goal. I'm going to get a gold medal.
We're going to wrap on that right there. Toni, thank you so much for being you, for sharing your story, for being your own role model, and therefore being all of our role model. To me, it just shows that like people from Detroit can do any and everything.
Oh yeah, we get it out the mud all day, every day.
Everything, and it's inspirational. It's encouraging. I know that the things that you've seen and experienced and the journey that you've been on, I think that just everybody can learn from it.
Yeah.
Everybody can pull something from it, and I think it'll help them walk their path a little more straighter. They can stand a little taller while they're doing it. And so just thank you for the leadership, and we can't wait to see what you've accomplished.
Thank you so much. I just appreciate you just for making this a safe space, not just for me, but for the people who are going to see this. They're going to feel like they have a chance to use their voice and open up and reach out for the help that they need. It's so important for us to shine light on things like this because a lot of people are scared. And I was one of those people like where I didn't always want to share the stuff that I went through. But with people like you and Governor Whitmore, you guys are making it happen in the state of Michigan and especially in the city of Detroit. And as long as we have leaders like you guys who can continue fighting for our voices and fighting for our rights, no doubt Detroit is in good hands. Michigan is in good hands.
We are here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Toni.